of the Tales from Nerd podcast. I'm your host, a random nerd, and we're going to talk about a few things going on this coming week. So basically, right now, we're going to talk about TV shows first, and then movie-wise, there isn't really much. Endgame pretty much is the hype. Some news about Spider-Man Far Far Away came out as well. And that's really about it. I'm just going to talk about TV shows, what comics are going to... If you're interested in comics, we're going to talk about a few things in comics. And that's really about it. This might be a shorter episode. So let's talk about TV shows. So we're going to talk about Supergirl for this week because it comes back this week. Not the other week. I thought it did. So I made a mistake on that part because I didn't research it. It was pretty, I said, let me just record it because I wanted to record this podcast and for a long time, and now I did it. So that's a fact that I am correcting at the moment. So basically, Supergirl comes back tonight. Well, by the time this is uploaded, it'll be Wednesday. So on this Sunday, we're going to get an episode with Supergirl where she goes to prison to investigate Lex Luthor's prison cell, and she is with Lena. And that's pretty much it. And more plot to the Sons of Liberty. That's pretty much a description. So far, Supergirl, it's better, but it's still... I enjoy Supergirl, but I dropped off of it, and I caught up with it recently because they announced Jon Cryer as Lex Luthor. I said, okay, I'm only going to watch to see how Jon Cryer does his Lex Luthor because it might suck. And surprisingly, he did really good. So I was really excited for that. And basically what happened last episode, James got powers. Jimmy Olsen, aka James Olsen, he doesn't want to be called Jimmy. He got powers. Supergirl was framed because there is a Red Daughter Supergirl. Because in the last season of Supergirl, after she went back in time, it created a second Supergirl, and then we got the Red Daughter storyline. We're going through the Red Daughter storyline at the moment. So far, it's the back half of it, and I'm enjoying the more back half of the season than the first half, because the first half didn't. I feel like it didn't know what it wanted to be. We got a good introduction to the villain, Agent Liberty, but we had one episode with him, and it was like his origin, and it was really good. But yeah, that's coming up this Sunday, this Sunday, which today is Sunday. I've already watched the episode. I will do a review on it next week because I want to upload these so I could, basically preemptively. And that's all I'm going to talk about Supergirl so far. It's getting better, but it still needs a lot of work. And the season is about to end. And in other news, I think all the Arrowverse shows have stopped filming. They finished filming for all their prospective seasons because they're done. And then they're going to start, I think, in June, in next month, May or June. That's when they start writing their prospective seasons again, and then they start filming in July, because that's early July or late June. That's when they usually film in Vancouver. So yeah, we're gonna get lots and lots of news, and we'll talk about that when it happens in the summer. But for now, we are going to move on to Legends. So last time we saw the Legends, let's see, what did they do? They were on a road trip with Nixon? Yeah, they were on a road trip with Nixon. Basically, team found out that Mona, the new Legend from the show, is a werewolf. Now, this season of Legends has been more magical. In the past, it's dealt with more time travel, changes to the timeline, and this season deals with more magic based. We got a hint of it last season, but this year we get more because John Constantine joined the Legends this season, and he has been fantastic because his show got canceled back in 2014, 2015, and a lot of people were sad, even including me, and I loved the show, and it should have never been put on NBC or on a Friday night slot because that is a Dead Knight slot. But yeah, so basically this coming episode, no, that was the last episode. The episode where I'm talking about is they had a Bollywood episode, and it was pretty interesting. Barely any action, considering Legends is known for the shenanigans. I mean, there are shenanigans, but it was pretty. It was interesting. The only interesting part of the show was because the last episode Nate's dad died, and we're getting a repercussion of that because Nate goes to his funeral, and then the rest of the Legends are pulled to this time disturbance where they meet this famous author, and Mona's a big fan of it, and yeah, shenanigans. That's pretty much it. And they meet a god, love god, something like that, love god, and it turned into like a 3-minute bio in the last 10 minutes. It turned into like a bio Hollywood dance and song, which I'm like, yeah, it's getting a bit silly. I like Legends, but this season hasn't been the strongest. Season 3, to me, in my opinion, it's been the strongest. But yeah, and then we get a revelation for Nate that he gave a good speech to his dead father, how he finally calls him dad. Because if you watch the season, they've been butting heads, and we've known that they haven't had the best relationship since he was a kid. And yeah, it was very emotional, and that's probably the only part that I enjoyed. What I enjoyed about Legends is it was a time-traveling superhero show. Now it's a show. It's like a shell of its former self. I will watch it to the end, and hopefully they do more stuff. And at the end of the episode, we got the reveal of the villain. Constantine finally got to meet the villain of the season, and it's his dead boyfriend's face that the demon is wearing. So we're gonna get more emotionally breaking Constantine stuff, hopefully, because I love Constantine. He's a really good character. That's pretty much it for Legends. Tomorrow we're gonna move on to Arrow, which I think this is probably one of my favorite episodes so far, besides the one where Oliver broke out of prison and Elseworlds. I think this is pretty up there. So in this episode, and the 150th episode, which was filmed like a documentary, that one was also my favorite episode. And recently, so on to Arrow. Because in Arrow this season, we get 2 storylines. We're getting the Flash Forwards and the present time. The present time, after last episode, Black Siren, or Laurel Lance, was found out to be Black Siren by the public. And she went back to being a bad guy. And a lot of people, well, especially Diana, which is the new Black Canary for the middle of season 5 to currently, always believed Laurel to be the bad guy, always be the bad guy, but in reality, she has inner conflict, which I do enjoy, because she doesn't know if she wants to be a hero or a villain anymore. After what happened last season, after her Earth 1 dad died, she didn't know what to do with herself, and she became the Earth 1 Laurel. Basically, she took up her mantle, basically became a lawyer and doing Earth 1 Laurel's job. So yeah, we had the big episode of the Birds of Prey, which got Katie Lotz back in Arrow, and she hasn't been on Arrow as a main character since season 4. Because season 4 she was only on it for a few episodes and then left because she was in Legends. So we got her, the current Black Canary, Diana Drake, and then the current, she's Black Siren, Laurel of Earth 2. And basically, it was a really good episode. There was a good action, there was good emotion, and basically it got resolved where it's revealed that she doesn't want to be a bad guy anymore at the end of the episode, because during the episode run, she was almost killing them, but not really. She gave them warnings, and Earth 2 Laurel was pretty smart. She does hide her track. She basically, what she did is she stole money off of bad guys because she kind of knew about the bad guy stuff because she was a lawyer. So that was cool. And pretty much, and it was a pretty good fight, pretty good episode. And at the end of it, we got the whole shebang, the whole Birds of Prey scene. There's a cool photo or a cool pose. They all walk together outside before the building explodes. Basically, that's she was there because she went to stop. She was working with the bad guy, Earth 2 Laurel. She was working with the bad guy, and at the end, she betrayed her partner. But her partner went like, "No, I knew you were going to betray me," and they set up the bomb, and the bomb wasn't that big of a situation. It in the episode, it felt more that it was going to be more destructive, but it wasn't. So yeah, we got a good action from all the characters, and there's this awesome beginning shot with Laurel in the first 2 minutes where it's just a cool action scene where it just follows her. Basically, she almost gets punched. She twists the guy's arm, flips, and it's just a straight run. It's just a straight film run, and it's really cool. Because we don't see Katie Cassidy do a lot of action scenes as much recently in Arrow. And then for the flash forwards, after a couple episodes ago, for Star City, after Felicity stopped the attack in 2049 for the Glades or Star City, it was a couple weeks ago. I've seen the episode. Because they just came back. They are branded criminals. So Felicity and Diana are branded criminals, and I think Zoe, which is Renee's daughter, they're all branded criminals. So they're on the run, and then at the end of the flash forward scene, where we get revealed that from last few episodes, not the current one, we're revealed that they're setting up something to kill vigilantes because they don't like vigilantes for some reason in 2049, which is something that still hasn't been explained. I'm waiting for the explanation why vigilantes are no good, because in the current time, vigilantes are accepted at the moment, in the present time, not in the flash forwards. So hopefully at the end of the season, it's kind of explained, but not really. Because next season it's only 10 episodes before the season ends for season 8. So yeah, I think the storyline kind of has to wrap up now, or they might continue in season 8. So yeah, basically Zoe and, don't know her name, but Felicity and Oliver's daughter are basically on the run, and basically Diana gives Felicity's daughter a speech, and she's like, "I don't want to hear it." She walks out, and then she is stopped by the vigilante killer robot person, because I don't know if they're vigilante or robot. They have like a big bicycle helmet type thing with weapons. Kind of looks Kind of looks like something from Call of Duty Black Ops, in my opinion, from like Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 3. And then she is met by the future version of Earth 2 Laurel wearing the Earth 1 outfit. And she says that the Canaries always have to stay together. And it was a pretty good moment seeing Laurel in the original Earth 1 costume, even though it's not her current Earth 1. So that's pretty cool. That's the end of that. And the next episode that's coming up on Monday, I forgot to talk about the Legends one, but I'm going to talk about the Arrow one, then the Legends one. The Arrow one, we're going to meet Ernie Hudson, which he's going to have a direct connection to Diggle. And basically, Diggle is taken, and Team Arrow is going to find Diggle. And like I said, Diggle's going to have a personal connection to Ernie Hudson's character, which is a a general in the army, and his last name is Stewart. Now, during during Elseworlds, we got a hint of John Diggle being John Stewart or being a Green Lantern, because during the season 2, season 3, there were a lot of people hinting that John Diggle may be John Stewart, or it could be John Diggle Stewart as Green Lantern. But apparently those plans fell through because WB doesn't like sharing the characters for film to be on TV. Weird. Because DC has all their characters. They could create a bunch of different versions, yet they don't want to share the toy box. Find that hilarious. But yeah, and Legends, this coming up of episode of Legends, what do they do? Ava is taken somewhere, and she's being hunted, and Sarah's going to go after her to save her. And then that's pretty much it of the script for next episode, because it comes out Monday. And that's about it for Legends, because, again, I'm not being surprised, but if you do enjoy Legends, watch it. Just the season's not digging myself. I do like the magical creature parts, but it's pretty... It's iffy. It goes both ways. There's good parts, there's bad parts, and then it's just a decision. Just like Arrow right now, I enjoy the more grittier version right now, how it is compared to season 6 and 4, because season 6 or 4 to me has been the weakest seasons, and season 3, part of season 3. But I think this season's been pretty well done. They've been trying to keep everything secretive this season, so very excited. Now we're going to talk about probably the biggest news for this season of The Flash, which is we get a flash forward, but a flashback from... Okay, we're going to get a flash forward for Nora, but a flashback for her, because we get to discover her origins of her powers, and we get to meet Godspeed. Basically, Godspeed is a speedster that is so fast he could be in literal 2 places at once. But in TV show, they made him a character who takes Velocity 9, which is pretty good throwback to season 2 of Flash, when Zoom was taking Velocity 9. And basically we get to see Nora. She's CSI like her father, and she is also very late, like her father back in season 1. It's kind of throwback to season 1 in the pilot. And basically, she's kind of the same as Nora in the present day, but not really. This is before she discovers her powers. So Nora to me is still acting like a child, but then again, this is a child that has never met her father, and she idolizes her father or the Flash. So she's still the same, pretty much the same person, except without speed. And basically, she goes to a lab with her friend, and basically talk to the lab assistant or the lab person, and then they were having a talk, and they said, oh yeah, we can't do anything. And then Nora and her friend left, and then Godspeed came in. They followed Godspeed following in. I think Godspeed killed the guy, and then Nora told her friend to leave, and basically Godspeed just threw lightning at her, and basically we get something similar to how Flash got Godspeed, where he got hit by lightning, and she's like, and she falls back to chemicals. Well, she doesn't get sprayed with chemicals, but she does fall back to the chemicals, and she gets her lightning, which is like purple. And basically what happens next is she wakes up in the hospital. They say, her friend says, oh yeah, they found something on you. It looks fried. It looks like from Star Labs. And then later on in the episode, we see her explore her powers a bit more, which she doesn't know how to use them. She goes like a pinball machine, like a triangle, hits 3 cars. She tries to stop a robbery, but she actually makes it worse and lets the criminals escape by accident. So, because remember, this is a Nora that has never been properly trained, because in her time, there are no speedsters to train her. So no Jay Garrick, no Barry Allen, no Kid Flash, and no Jesse Quick. So, nobody's going to train her because no speedsters there. Which is weird, because Wally could be there, but we don't know why. It might be answered in Crisis, which I will bring that up in just a bit. Yeah, and she confronts her mother about the chip in her body, because it was a pretty good part for her, because you understand why, because she had a part of her hidden for so long, and nobody told her, and it wasn't her choice to, or it wasn't Iris's choice to depower her daughter. And let's just say Nora didn't like it. And then she goes to Thawne. And she asks for Thawne's help. And Thawne's like, no. You have speed, don't you? He could already tell that Nora had speed, because he's like, I can still feel the lightning like all around me. I could sense that you have the speed force. But he's like, no, I won't help you. And then after a bit, she talks to him about Godspeed, how he's trying to perfect his speed, trying to create a cure to Velocity 9 so he could be a permanent speedster. And basically, Thawne gives her headpiece. And here's one question. How did Thawne give Nora a headpiece? That's one question that's never answered. That's a nitpick in my opinion. And basically, she catches up to Godspeed, destroys a chemical or something, runs away. Godspeed follows, and then Thawne tells Nora to phase. He basically gives the speech that he gave to Barry back in season 1 with the Trickster about phasing. There's this cool scene where, ooh, that voice crack. There's this cool scene where she's running, breathing like, yeah, you believe she could phase, but she chickens out at the last minute, turns around the corner, Godspeed looks, and he's not there. And yeah, basically, because here's the thing, Nora never learned how to phase, because we found that out in season 5, episode 1. That's when she learned how to phase a plane with Kid Flash and Flash. So that's pretty cool. And there's continuity, at least, in the Flash, even though not really, because it removes other continuity. I don't want to go into a big tangent with the Flash, season 5 right now. So after that, Godspeed is defeated, and here's the sad part. Godspeed is wasted, in my opinion. I mean, there's a big rumor going around that he will be used at the end of season 5 and beginning of season 6, but it is a rumor nonetheless. And then basically Reverse Flash tells her to go back to the museum and go get the ring of his suit, and then go to, that space Thawne did, the space where Thawne went to talk to Gideon. And then Gideon talks to her about, you're Nora Allen, the Flash's daughter, Barry Allen. And she's like, he's what? And she gets hit with the big revelation of, her dad was the Flash, the speedster. And she's like, oh my God, my dad's a speedster. Nobody told me. And then this is probably the best part of the video. I mean, the best part of the episode. We get our first look in Crisis on Infinite Earths. The big crossover that's going to happen, this year in November or December. And we get a touching speech from Barry about he knows he's going to die and he hopes that his daughter lives. With good memories of him. He doesn't know he's gonna die, but he's like, he would like to meet his daughter one day, and it's very emotional. And it's a pretty emotional scene. And after that, she finds a ring with the Flash suit, and it says various Flash suits, like Flash ring number 1, version 5, and she takes one. And that's pretty much her origin. And then at the end of the episode, because during that, she was locked in the very beginning of this episode, she was locked in the pipeline, where basically the Flash takes all these metahumans, all the metahuman bad guys there. And he takes her out. No, Iris takes her out, and then Nora and Barry have a have a talk, and Barry, he did probably the most logical thing. I mean, he's running on emotions, but it's pretty logical. Like, he says, Nora, I can't trust you. If you wanted me to trust you, you should have told me you were working with Thawne. And she took him. Basically, Barry took Nora back to her time and says, if you try to time travel back to the present, I will know, because the Speed Force, I will feel it in the Speed Force. Don't go back. And Nora's like, but, and she almost cries in the middle of the area where she's at. And then part of the highlight, this is the second highlight of the episode, he speaks with future version of Thawne. And he's like, you took my daughter? My daughter? And Thawne's like, I didn't take anything from you. She just wanted to spend time with her dad. And I always liked Tom Cavanaugh and Grant Gosling's dynamic as the Flash and Reverse Flash, because they could really bounce off of each other as good guy and bad guy. And Thawne's like, consider this a wish, a last consideration for a dead man, and it shows him still having 10 minutes left to live. So we don't know what that means, because during that prison where Nora talks with Reverse Flash, the guards shock him with high voltage electricity. We don't know, but it might be, we might get the end of the Reverse Flash. We might have a finale for the Reverse Flash. Well, the Reverse Flash. Because this is a Reverse Flash that survived the end of season 1, basically. In my opinion, this is the guy that's after season 1, after he gets raised. He's the one that's in, what is it, Earth X? Crisis on Earth X. And now, because he's aging, he has yellow hair, he's starting to look like a bit like how Thawne looks like, because 2 actors play Thawne. So he has yellow hair, he's a bit older, he has something to stop his powers, because he can't run, he can't escape this jail cell. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. And then next episode, we get to meet we go meet Caitlin's father, Icicle, next episode. Pretty excited. I want to see how that goes. And we're gonna get Iris to time travel to the future. So Iris is gonna go to the future, talk with her daughter and Thawne. And that's pretty much it for next episode. And basically, Godspeed episode was directed by Danielle Panabaker. And let me just say this, she did a fantastic job on the episode. And I really hope she continues directing episodes in the future. Let me just say this, she was kind of thrown a lot of stuff to do, because she had to explain Nora, she introduced Godspeed, and she had to direct that emotional episode with Barry and Thawne, and that emotional video about Crisis. Okay, after that's all done, I want to talk a little bit of Crisis. Now, Crisis on Infinite Earths is next year's crossover. I literally cannot wait for this, because Arrow is ending. Flash might disappear for an episode, and it's gonna cause this crossover will have ramifications for the Arrowverse in general, because back in Elseworlds they did say people will die, Earths will die, nothing will be the same. So Crisis on Infinite Earths is going to have big ramifications. And by that video Barry shot of himself, it's a big battle. It's going to be a big battle, and I hope they bring everybody in, as many people as they can, because it's going to be a battle for all their lives. Okay, that's pretty much it for Arrowverse. Now I'm going to talk about Supernatural and Gotham. Now, Supernatural, what happened last episode, we got the revelation that Jack killed Mary. Mary is Dean and Sam's mom, and she died. Basically, Jack couldn't handle his emotions, because during the season, he lost his soul, or burnt it all off during the season. and he kills Mary by accident, and then he has a panic attack. He doesn't answer Sam's calls or Dean's calls, and he brings back Mary, but it's just a shell because she's in heaven and she doesn't want to come back to Earth. And basically Dean hates Jack a lot. And it's very sad because Jack feels he's a kid. He's only like 3 years old, and he doesn't know how to process his emotions at the moment. And then he's having hallucinations of his dad, Lucifer. He's having hallucinations of Lucifer. And basically, Dean is on a mission to kill Jack. And let me say this, Jack has grown on me as a character. He went from a guy who didn't know how his powers work to a full hunter who understands Sam and Dean and Castiel. And then during this episode, Jack gets manipulated by an angel to create more angels. And Jack is killing people who do not believe in God or is misusing the word of God, basically. And basically during the season, Dean created a lockbox to lock himself and Michael in a big lockbox which he could not escape. And they put Jack in there. And I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna wreck Jack. He's gonna break emotionally. And that's what he did. He broke emotionally. And he starts hallucinating his dad, Lucifer, again in his mind. He's like, because Jack tried to escape once and he gave some power. He's like, you gotta try a little bit more, buddy. Come on, give it all you got. And Jack blew up this casket, and we get this final shot of him, I think red eyes, and just everything covered in dust. All you see is red eyes. Sam, Dean, and Castiel are just there like, oh crap. Oh crap. Let me say this. Supernatural's been on for almost 15 years and it's ending next season. This is not the finale I was thinking about. This season finale. Because they made Jack the bad guy. And here's the thing, during Michael, I said, okay, Michael's probably going to be the big bad guy. They're setting him up to be the big bad guy. And then, no, he's killed during episode 15. I'm like, they killed Michael, the big bad angel. And no, then slowly we started revealing that Jack lost his soul. He killed a snake. He almost killed new friends that he made and lost them all within. He made friends and lost them all within one day. And he spoke to Donatello, which is a character who can read the word of God. And basically, yeah, and he killed the previous vessel of Lucifer as well. And yeah, Jack's been going on a road of basically, he thinks it's good, but morally it's not. Even Mary mentioned, like, yeah, you might think that's good, but the old Jack would never do that. He would question the morality of that situation. And yeah, next episode is going to be the season finale of this. Now, I don't know if they're going to kill Jack. Here's the thing. Dan announced that Sam and Dean will be back, and Castiel, all those three characters will be back for next season. But they have no mention of Jack, if he's going to have a redemption arc, or if Bobby's going to live, because also Bobby wants to kill Jack. But you feel for Jack because once he's in the box, he's like, Sam, Dean, you're my family, and let me out. And it's very mistake, because if you trap this guy and if he ever gets out, and he does get out, you're gonna have the biggest bad so far. And yeah, it's gonna be, I didn't even watch a promo for next episode because it was emotionally jarring in my opinion. This is probably the most, it doesn't feel the most emotional episode, but in my opinion it did because of Jack. That's pretty much it for Superdown. We're gonna jump on to Gotham. A few words about Gotham. A show that I've been watching for 5 years, and it's ending next episode. How about that? This episode, basically, we got the conclusion of the No Man Land storyline, basically. And Bruce made the decision to... Okay, before I talk about this, what happened last episode, Bane broke Alfred. He threw him on the concrete. What else? What else happened? Yeah, what was that? Oh, basically last episode, decisions were made, and then we get the awesome. Basic decisions were made. Characters are hunted. Yeah, because it's been a while since Gotham came back. So yeah, it took a 2-week break and then came back. So yeah, let's see. Barbara's daughter and Jim's daughter was born. Bane broke Alfred, and Gotham is trying to have its last stand, basically, because it's gonna get nuked or something like that. That was pretty much the intention, because the general was brainwashed. But basically, what happened this episode, we got ramifications for the show and basically some send-offs for some characters, because next episode is the finale, the series finale of Gotham. So basically what this episode happened is the army is attacking Gotham, which was shown in the first episode of Gotham season 5, and it basically picks up from there, where Penguin, Riddler, Jim, Harvey are shooting the army. And they say, for Gotham. And Bane finds a way to break into Gotham by shooting a rocket missile below to start attacking Gotham. And basically to slow it down, Bruce picks up Jeremiah's device that was supposed to, create energy, makes it into a bomb, because Jeremiah made it into a bomb last season. That's what blew up the bridges that made this storyline No Man's Land. After that, he took it to Wayne Tower, and basically he has an emotional moment. Like, this is a company my parents built. I don't. It's hard for me to justify this by blowing it up, but he says, I remember my parents would say they would do anything for Gotham, and this is for Gotham. And he sets a bomb, and Bruce and Catwoman run. But here's the thing. After Bruce sets it off, he's like, Catwoman's like, no, Selina's like, oh yeah, so what do we do now? He's like, run. And they both run like, no, I'm like, no, you're supposed to say, after I set it off, when it turns, we run. No, he sets it up. He's like, he looks at it, I'm like, yeah, run. I'm like, do you know how fast that bomb is? Probably not. But besides that, they blew up the bomb and it fell over the Bane's soldiers and it killed a few of them, because it's a big building that crushed probably a few hundred people. Because remember, you only have like 30 cops versus 300 of an army. So, yeah. After that, Bruce and Selina is stopped by Bane, and basically they almost have a fight. But Bruce and Selina know they can't beat him because he's a pretty buff guy. And he kind of is built like a tank. But Bruce is given a device earlier in the episode, and it was called the Nightwing Project. Basically, it's like a sonic device that Bruce puts on Bane's back. And basically a bunch of bats fly on him and gnaw at his face. And then Selina and Bruce run. Then before they are raided, Jim sends basically Lee to lead the people out of Gotham, the GCPD, with Barbara and her daughter before Bane attacks, and kind of have this last stand, like no, we're gonna buy you some time, you gotta run, you gotta leave, so you guys can have a life. And basically Jim, Harvey, Bruce, and I think Selina make a stand to Bane, and Bane just says, okay, shoot them down. And then the rest of Gotham just comes together and makes a stand and say, and basically the soldiers, well, they don't say anything, they just make a last stand because it looked like Jim was gonna die. But Lee and Barbara brings back everyone and it's kind of like a little nice moment. Like, yeah, if you're gonna gun a few of us, fine. But if you're gonna good luck trying to gun all of Gotham, which is a pretty decent amount of people we saw in that episode, and yeah, it was pretty good. And then Bane's like, shoot them, follow my orders, and no, Bane gets betrayed really quick. Only him and one henchman, or like the henchman's like, okay, I'll shoot, and no, everyone turns on me, and the henchman's like, what the, he's like, ah, crap. Yeah, and then Bane gets arrested, and then at the end of the episode, we get revealed that Jim is going to be the new commissioner. Bruce is a lot older now, and he wants to grow more, and he leaves a letter to Selina saying, well, we don't know what the letter says, but it's part of saying goodbye. I'm going to leave at this time. I'm going to be at this airport. And basically this, Bruce leaves, basically. He's going to go train to be Batman. He walks on a flight. He has this this Bruce Wayne swagger. When he walks to the plane, he's like, walks and turns. He does the cool, like, Bruce turn? Is it a turn? I don't know. It's you feel like, yeah, he's grown. He's turned into Bruce, the Bruce we know from the comics, and leaves. And then Selina just comes in like right after the plane leaves, because she wanted to say goodbye to Bruce because they've had this on and off relationship. They're really good friends, and they never got to say goodbye. And that's where we're left with these characters this episode. And then we're revealed for next episode, Bruce is gonna train. We're going to get an older Selina. We're going to get the Joker. And we're going to see Batman. Now, Gotham hasn't always been my favorite show, but I have enjoyed it throughout the years, and it is very sad it's ending. I literally cannot wait for next episode, because next episode will be sad in my opinion. It's an opinion I have. It's my opinion. So far, they've casted someone else to play older Selina because the actress who plays young Selina said, I couldn't pull off the 10-year mark. So, she said, yeah, this episode 11, was my last episode. Someone else will play Selina for the new episode. For just one episode. Which is, kind of understandable, because you're doing a 10-year time jump. And, also, before that, they finally named the baby Barbara Lee Gordon. Because it's Barbara and Lee together, and then Gordon's last name. So yeah, they named the baby, and I literally can't wait because we're gonna see this version of Gotham's version of Batman. We're gonna see the villains rise to how they are in the comics. We see an older Penguin, we see an older Riddler, we see Catwoman, we see Batman, we might see even the Bat Signal, and we see Gordon with his mustache. That's pretty much where I'm gonna leave off for Gotham. Next, we are going to talk about Doom Patrol. What happened during last Doom Patrol was Cliff, aka Robot Man, he went inside Jane's brain because Negative Man touched his brain and Jane's brain and kind of created a funnel to go to. And they, Cliff had emotional moments. He's like, I'm me again after so long. I have a human hand. I can feel stuff. And then later throughout the episode, we get to see more personas of Jane. And it was a pretty good episode. I liked to enjoy it. And because, well, I said that word weird. But because of that, Cyborg and Elastigirl had an adventure. Because after Cliff escapes and helps Jane, because we found out Jane had a pretty messed up childhood. It's pretty insistent she got molested. It was a pretty dark episode, but she overcame her fear, defeated her dad, and left the well, because the well basically, from my understanding, is where you go to die, because one person went there and she never came back. But yeah, after they wake up, they're like, oh, what happened to you guys? What happened here? We'll talk about it later, or we don't want to talk about it. And then this current episode, we explain what happened. Basically, we meet a guy who is after Niles Caulder, and basically they can't find him because Mr. Nobody took him. Mr. Nobody took him. The Doom Patrol's been trying to look for them since episode 2. And this guy, he has a weird power where he eats facial hair and he can sense where you are. And while that's happening, we also get a flashback to Niles Caulder in 1913. And he meets a beast/woman and he falls in love with her. And basically the organization they've been hinting at the last few episodes, this big bad organization, basically Niles Caulder was a part of it. And they're there to hunt down this creature and kill it, presumably. During this flashback, Niles like, oh yeah, what this creature know how to do is like, I don't know what this creature wants, to be honest. I feel stupid. What is this? He's like, what is this? I do not know what this is. And yeah, and then he kills the buddy he was with on ice because, as we learned through the flashback, Niles Caulder was following this woman, and someone said a word, and he's like, what does that word mean? And he falls in ice, and the woman helps her. But yeah, and he falls in love with the woman. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Timothy Dalton cannot do wrong as being an actor. And he falls in love with the woman, and then he finds his friend, kills his friend, and he's like, oh, I gotta go back. I have to leave this woman. He leaves her, and yeah, he leaves her and then goes back to the shady organization and says, oh yeah, nothing, I couldn't find anything. Are you sure you couldn't find anything? Niles Caulder's like, yeah, couldn't find anything. And you could sense, like, I want to go back to the wilderness because he learned hunting. He learned to fend for himself for a couple of years. So that was pretty interesting. And we're going to go back to the current timeline, the current time of Doom Patrol. And basically, yeah, they fight this guy and then they realize this guy, he eats your facial hair and he can basically know what you're thinking of. Cyborg tries to punch him, shoot him and everything, and he's like, no, dodge, flip. Like, I know everything what you're thinking, Cyborg. I know what you're thinking. And oh my, I wonder what your friends think. I think that's how it went. And then during that episode, we are revealed that there is something wrong with Cyborg. And my theory is Grid. Basically, Grid is the evil version of Cyborg from Earth 3, or like an evil program. He is in Injustice 2, in the Injustice 2 video game, Grid. Because in the first episodes, we get to see Cyborg for a few, these recent episodes, we get to see Cyborg talk to this like AI voice named Grid. So I'm guessing Grid is trying to hack into Cyborg. And basically, the guy who eats facial escapes Cyborg and the last one. But the funny thing is, he's a pretty fat guy. And they're like, he's not a threat. And then it turns out he's a threat to them. And like, did we really just lose him? And basically, before he escaped, Cyborg and Lasso Woman were talking about putting a little like GPS locator to find him. And while that debacle was happening, Lasso Woman put it on him. So now they know how to trace him. And then after that, Robot Man, Jane, and Negative Man all wake up. So basically, we get to see what happened to Cyborg and the Last Woman during last episode. And at last episode, the guy who's hunting Niles Caulder finds them, but it's like a weird puppet version on a wheelchair, and we're presumed that he is killed by the last shot because we hear screaming. And then I forgot what happens next episode. I forgot the preview for next episode, but I'll talk about it. Yeah, let me look. Yeah, I'm almost done with this podcast. This podcast is, I think, hope a little bit longer. I know I'm talking about TV shows because that's pretty much what happened in TV shows, and I do want to talk about them. Next time, they will be a little bit shorter. I'll try to time it. I just rambled a lot because I love these TV shows. These are the shows I watch. It's So that's why I want to talk about them. Yeah. After that, this is all the TV shows. So, do I recommend watching these TV shows? Yeah, if you're a fan of, DC and Supernatural, I highly recommend it. All the shows are good. To me personally, because I watch a lot of these shows and I know these characters and how they react, and I've been watching for about 8 years, except Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol's recent. Doom Patrol's pretty recent. But like the Arrowverse, I've seen it from the beginning. Now it's continuation to Supernatural from 2005 to now. So yeah, they've been pretty long roads. And speaking of roads, we're gonna talk about Endgame, Avengers Endgame. Now, it's the biggest movie that's coming out this week, Friday. This coming Friday, and the first 5 minutes were leaked. Now, I recommend do not leak this movie to anyone, because if you do, you are a dick. Now, I will talk about the movie, but it won't be uploaded till Wednesday. This is just, I filmed this Wednesday and I uploaded, no, I filmed this Sunday and I uploaded Wednesday. There's a reason for that, because it gives leeway to you watching the shows, or you could look up the shows, binge watch the shows, and you get to watch them. I try not to spoil them, but I'll spoil them because you have a whole week to watch them. But yeah, Avengers Endgame. The first 5 minutes have been revealed. Just don't be a dick about it, and don't share stuff. Also, if you're gonna watch Endgame, do not have Twitter, do not have Facebook, do not have Instagram, do not watch YouTube, because someone will spoil it for you. And this is what I do every time. I delete Facebook, I delete Instagram, I delete Twitter. I don't delete YouTube, but I try to, you're going to have to watch something else. You can't have nothing aggregated to you or anything related to Avengers, because someone will spoil it. Now, as I say that, we are revealed what the final film for the Phase 3 will be, and it is revealed, I think, today, that Spider-Man Far From Home will be the final entry for the Phase 3 films, which is funny because Spider-Man is the only character to get 2 of his movies in the same phase ever since Iron Man. Iron Man and Spider-Man are the only 2 characters to ever get 2 sequels within the same phase of the films, which is pretty cool in my opinion. Only those 2 characters. The guy who was super popular since his creation, and then the character who's been popular since 2008, since Robert Downey Jr. took on the role. So that's all the stuff I want to talk about for the MCU. I know this podcast has been mostly just TV shows. That's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, because last episode was just a trial of what I want to talk about, news related stuff. That's pretty much it. I'm going to talk about comics now. So, here's my trusty notebook. This is a notebook I write all my comics in. And I'm going to tell you all the comic books that I'm excited for this Wednesday, or the 24th. We are going to get Action Comics 1010, or 1010, basically. It's the still continuing storyline of the Lazarus Rising. It's written by Brian Michael Bendis. It's a story. It's okay. I miss the other writer, Patrick Gleason and Peter J. Tomasi. Those 2 are a good combo. Well, no, Patrick Gleason's the artist. Peter J. Tomasi, basically. Peter J. Tomasi and the other writer. I always forget the writers. But yeah, I miss them. Action Comics is okay at the moment. This storyline is pretty interesting, in my opinion. It's picking up, but Brian Michael Bendis is known to, create this long arcing story, and hopefully by the end of his run, it all makes sense, because so far, it's like, oh yeah, I'll have this idea, and then I'll forget about it this quick, and then I'll bring it up when I want to. That's how I feel about that. we're going to get Amazing Spider-Man number 20, which is the continuation of the Hunted storyline so far. Basically, in that storyline, Spider-Man is taken by Kraven's son, and he is put in this Hunger Games style death match where he is hunted by hunters who are wearing these VR sets, who are like, okay, they put on the VR sets and they're hunting animal-based heroes and villains, basically. Mostly villains. They put Spider-Man up there because Kraven wants to die, or he wants to learn how to die again. And so far, I'm enjoying Nick Spencer's writing, and I say pick up Hunted because it's a pretty good Kraven story. Now we're going to talk about Avengers 18. This is the tie-in to War of the Realms, in my opinion. War of the Realms, I haven't read it yet. I have it on my desk. I've just been busy with doing this podcast, doing homework for work. I'm organizing this house, and I've been trying to, say what else do I want to do for the podcast, and trying to catch up on my comics. But Avengers 18 is going to be tied to War of the Realms, I think. I don't know the solicitations for issue 20, but I'm excited because Jason Aaron, the writer for War of the Realms and Thor, is still writing the storyline. So I say pick it up. If not, just pick up the number 1 issue, or pick up anything after the War of the Realms tie-in. We're going to talk about Batman Beyond number 31. And this is a storyline with the Joker? I don't remember. It's been a while for me since I read Batman Beyond. But it has Terry McGinnis, and I love Terry McGinnis. And basically the writer who's writing this is pretty good. I recommend picking up Batman Beyond in trade at the moment, because that way you can catch up to the current storyline. We're talking about Black Panther. Black Panther, he is in space. That's all I gotta say. Black Panther is good, but it's confusing to me because he's in space. I don't know, like, is this in continuity with what he's doing in Avengers or not? That's my only big issue. Apparently, I'm not understanding where this is taking place. I mean, it's a pretty good story. He's in space. He's learning who he is because his memory is wiped. He doesn't know he's the Black Panther, and slowly he's learning that he's the legendary Black Panther. But I'm enjoying this, and the art's pretty cool. I like it. Now we're going to talk about Detective Comics 1002. 1002, we are still in the storyline where we meet the Arkham Knight. Now, we don't know who the Arkham Knight is, but if you remember, back a few years ago, we got the game Arkham. I don't remember. It was Batman Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, Arkham something. And we got the introduction of Arkham Knight, who turned out to be Jason Todd, which everyone kind of figured that out. Everyone figured it out. But this one, it can't be Jason Todd because Jason Todd's Red Hood, and he's doing other stuff at the moment. So he cannot be the Arkham Knight. And the Arkham Knight is trying to ruin Batman's life. And I hope they don't reveal who he is for now. I hope they reveal it like 20 issues from now. Now, I met the writer for Detective, and he's a pretty cool guy. And he enjoyed writing Super Sons. Super Sons was a pretty good run. But he says he has big plans for this storyline, and I really can't wait. So when I catch up reading, I will enjoy it. Now, Doctor Strange number 13. Now, this one, basically, Galactus has come. No, Galactus is defeated, taken to the negative zone, and Doctor Strange is trying to take him back to our universe. That's what happened in the last issue. And this one, he's trying to take Galactus back to our prime universe, because if you don't have him in our universe, basically things are going to get unbalanced. And Doctor Strange is like, if I don't fix this, our plane of existence is screwed. And here's my only problem, which is Fantastic Four. What happened? Basically, Doom took over Galactus. The Fantastic Four escaped from Doom, and Yeah, and Doom is kind of unmasked, and he's kind of his burnt, charred self. And he's like, the Fantastic, you will pay for this. And I think this will lead to, this storyline where Herald of Doom, where we're going to get a big fight with Doctor Doom and Fantastic Four. Now, my only issue right now, in continuity-wise, Galactus is in both books. He's in this book because Doom took down Galactus and is using him as power for Latveria. The issue is he's also in the Negative Zone in Doctor Strange, unless Doctor Strange takes after the storyline or before the storyline. But besides that, pick up Fantastic Four because it's getting better. It's getting better. Flash number 69. This is the issue before Flash Year 1. Basically, we get revealed more of Jesse James, of his plans for Central City, and why everyone's happy. So, that's pretty cool. Heroes in Crisis number 8. Oh my god, Heroes in Crisis. It's a story that's very divisive. It's okay, but it's written by Tom King. The art is fantastic. The art is beautiful. I love the art. The art is just freaking amazing. But yeah, this is a storyline where not many people are happy because it killed a lot of people, but it killed Wally West and Roy Harper. And here's the thing, when Rebirth came, Wally West was the hope, and 2 years later they killed the hope. I'm like, why kill Wally West? And then apparently this will answer a lot of the questions, because during this series we were revealed that Wally West is 5 days older than he should have died, and apparently time travel, but Flashes can't time travel after Zoom broke kind of the Speed Force. After they released all the forces, nobody can time travel, and basically Tom King is writing time travel or something. But apparently this issue will get answers, because a lot of people who got the preview of it or got an early copy are saying this book will answer a lot of the questions, and I really hope, because if they have Wally West dead for forever, I will be sad. But this is comics. This is a thing where people die and come back. Eventually, Wally West will come back and Roy Harper. But for now, rest in peace. Okay, now we're going to talk about Justice League Dark number 10. This is the storyline. I've read Justice League Dark. It's been a while. It's a pretty good book. It deals more with the Justice League's magic things. We got Detective Chimp. Oh no, we're dealing with Dr. Fate and the children of Dr. Fate, there's just a lot of Dr. Fate in this book. Basically, Dr. Fate turned to villain, and the Justice Dark team is trying to defeat him. Basically, so it's a pretty good run. You got Wonder Woman, you got Man-Bat, you got Detective Chimp, you got Zatanna, Constantine, and Swamp Thing. A team that sounds really good on paper and is really good written. Now we're going to talk about Superior Spider-Man number 5, which what happened last is Superior Spider-Man, aka Dr. Octopus, saved the city, he helped people, and he's trying to be more human. That's what happened last issue. And at the end of the issue, we got revealed a villain. Now this issue, he will probably meet this villain and fight it while trying to be more human. So yeah. Now, Terrifics number 15. Terrifics is a pretty good comic book. It's lasted pretty good because it's the only one that lasted this after Dark Knight's Metal. This is the Metal, because when Metal came out, there were a bunch of books that came out saying the new age of heroes, and this is the only book that survived because every other book got canceled or finished. Terrifics is pretty fun. It's basically the Fantastic Four, DC's answer to the Fantastic Four. It's Plastic Man, Mr. Terrific. It's a pretty good team, basically. Pretty good team. So if you want to read Fantastic Four, but for DC, pick up the book. It's pretty good, and everyone has a really good chemistry. Venom 13, which will be a tie-in to War of the Realms. It's not written by the current writer, Donny Cates. Is it Donny Cates? I think it's Donny Cates. Yeah, Donny Cates has written the first 12 issues, but someone else is taking number 13 because it's a tie-in to War of the Realms. I have no other information for that. Now we're going to get War of the Realms Uncanny X-Men #1. Basically, Uncanny X-Men are being part of War of the Realms. That's all I got. And then Wonder Woman 69, I think, is still dealing with the rock creatures attacking. That's all I got. And Wonder Woman's with Giganta. So that's all I got. So that's all I'm going to talk about this week. Hope you enjoy. Basically, share if you like. Comment what you want me to talk about more, what you want me to talk about less, or tell me like you need to stop rambling on. Because it's very experimental, very early on for me, and I would like to hear your opinions. That's pretty much it. Have a good night.